you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नष्टकी. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 15, Parshurama, the Lord's warrior incarnation, verse 27 to 41. Text 27. Thereafter, Kartavir Arjuna, having left with the Kamdhenu, Parshurama returned to the ashrama. When Parshurama, the youngest son of Jamadagni, heard the Kartavir Arjuna's nefarious deed, he became as angry as a trampled snake. Text 28. Taking up his fierce chopper, his shield, his bow, and quiver of arrows, Lord Parshurama, exceedingly angry, chased Kartavir Arjuna just as a lion chases an elephant. Text 29. As King Kartavir Arjuna entered his capital, Mahishpati Puri, he saw Lord Parshurama, the best of Bhragu dynasty, coming after him, holding a chopper, shield, bow, and arrows. Lord Parshurama was covered with a black deer skin, and his matted locks of hairs appeared like a sunshine. Text 30. Upon seeing Parshurama, Kartavir Arjuna immediately feared him and sent many elephants, chariots, horses, and infantry soldiers equipped with clubs, sword, arrows, rishtis, shatagnis, shaktis, and many similar weapons to fight against him. Kartavir Arjuna sent 17 full akshoinis of soldiers to check Parshurama, but Lord Parshurama alone killed all of them. Text 31. Lord Parshurama, being expert in killing the military strength of the enemy, worked with the speed of the mind and the wind, slicing his enemies with the chopper Parsu. Whenever he went, the enemies fell, their legs, arms, and shoulders being severed, served, their chariot drivers killed, and their carriers, the elephants and horses, all annihilated. Text 32. By manipulating his axe and arrows, Lord Parshurama cut into pieces the shields, flags, bows, and bodies of the Kartavir Arjuna's soldiers, who fell on the battlefield, muddying the ground with their blood. Seeing these reverses, Kartavir Arjuna, infuriated, rushed to the battlefield. Text 33. Then Kartavir Arjuna, with his 1,000 arms, simultaneously fixed arrows on 500 bows to kill Lord Parshurama. But Lord Parshurama, the best of fighters, released enough arrows with only one bow to cut to pieces immediately all the arrows and bows in the hands of Kartavir Arjuna. Text 34. When his arrows were cut into pieces, Kartavir Arjuna uprooted many trees and hills with his own hands and again rushed strongly towards Lord Parshurama to kill him. But Parshurama then used his axe with great force to cut off Kartavir Arjuna's arms, just as one might lop off the horns of a serpent. Text 35 and 36. Thereafter, Parshurama cut off like a mountain peak the head of Kartavir Arjuna, who had already lost his arms. When Kartavir Arjuna's 10,000 sons saw their father killed, they all fled in fear. Then Parshurama, having killed the enemy, released the Kamdhenu, which had undergone great suffering, and brought it back with its calf to his residence, where he gave it to his father Jamadagni. Text 37. Parshurama described to his father and brothers his activities in killing Kartavir Arjuna. Upon hearing of these deeds, Jamadagni spoke to his son as follows. Text 38. O great hero, my dear son Parshurama, you have so unnecessarily killed the king, who is supposed to be the embodiment of all the demigods. Thus, you have committed a sin. Text 39. My dear son, we are all Brahmanas and have become worshipable for the people in general because of our qualities of forgiveness. It is because of this quality that Lord Brahma, the supreme spiritual master of this universe, has achieved his post. Text 40. The duty of a Brahmana is to culture the quality of forgiveness, which is illuminating like the sun. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, is pleased with those who are forgiving. Text 41. My dear son, killing a king who is an emperor is more severely sinful than killing a Brahmana. But now, if you become Krishna conscious and worship the holy places, you can atone for this great sin. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purports of the ninth canto, 15th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Parshurama, the Lord's Warrior Incarnation. Thank you so much, Mataji. Over to you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Venidas Prabhuji, please accept our humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Please take over the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Radharani Mataji, for coordinating, and thank you, Sundarana Prabhu, for giving this opportunity to share a few points from Srila Prabhupada's purport for my own purification. So, thank you, Shivani Mataji, for reading today's Bhagavatam section slokas translations. So, today we'll go through the Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 15th chapter, Parshurama, the Lord's warrior incarnation, from slokas 27 to 40. Start with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschaptadeshtarani. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you all for joining for today's Bhagavatam session. So just to give a background, so we are seeing the descriptions of Chandra Vamsha, the moon dynasty. So from the last chapter onwards it started. So before that we have seen the Surya Vamsa, the sun dynasty, from sun god, the Shradha the Manu and his dynasty, like that. And last chapter we heard about the Chandra Vamsa, how it started. From Garbhodakasaya Vishnu, Lord Brahma appeared, and from Brahma, Atri Muni came, and Atri Muni's son is Soma, and he conquered the universe, three planetary systems, and then he became puffed up, and he kidnapped his own spiritual master's wife, Tara, and through their union, they got a wonderful child, Buddha. And from Buddha, Pururava came, and we heard about the Pururava's pastimes, descriptions. So in this chapter, we started with Pururava's dynasty, Nindaya dynasty. There was a great king called Ghadi, and from Ghadi had a beautiful daughter called Satyavati, and Satyavati got married to Richika Muni, and from Richika Muni, Jamadagni was born. And Jamadagni had many sons, and one of them is the youngest one is Parashuram. And then the Parashurama's Kshatriya spirit, how it started, that pastime is started. And in the last session, it is started where this the king of Mahishmati Puri, his name is Kartavirya Arjuna. So he went to the forest one time and then visited Jamadagni Shashramam and saw the Kamadhenu, which is producing great opulence. So then he decided to have that, and then he forcefully took that Kamadhenu cow from Jamadagni. And during that time, Parashrama seems to be is not there. So After Kartavirya left, so we'll go through that 27 slokas from 27 to 41 today. So after Kartavirya left, Parashurama returned to ashram, and then he saw, or he heard about Kartavirya's inappropriate activities. Then he became very angry. And then this title is also Parashurama is the incarnation of the Supreme Lord, and Parashurama is considered as a Shakti Avayash avatar of Supreme Lord Krishna, because Krishna has unlimited incarnations. So it is said that how the waves of the ocean continuously coming, and it's not possible for anyone to count because it's continuously coming. So similarly, Krishna's incarnations are unlimited. They're coming. Of course, they are all grouped into 6 categories. Purusha avatars like Karunodakasaya Vishnu, Garbhodakasaya Vishnu, Kshirodakasaya Vishnu. They are called as Purusha avatars. And then we have Guna avatars. Lord Brahma, who is the in charge of the Rajoguna, and Supreme Lord Vishnu is the in charge of Sattva Guna, and then Lord Shiva, who is the in charge of the Tamoguna. So they are all Guna avatars. And then we have many Leela avatars, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, like that. And then we also heard in the previous chapters the Manvantara avatars, like Krishna appearing as Ajita in the Chakshusha Manvantara, like that. Then we have a Yuga avatars, Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. So there are Yuga avatars. And then there is a Shakti Avash avatars. And Lord Parashurama is considered as a Shakti Avash avatar. So Shakti Avash avatara means a pure spirit soul is empowered by the Supreme Lord Krishna to perform a certain task. So even I heard Srila Prabhupada also considered as a Shakti Avash avatar, because he's empowered by Supreme Lord Krishna to preach Krishna consciousness all over the world. And primarily, we hear 7 famous Shakti Avash avatars. One of them is Parashurama. So, and Parashurama is empowered to do the Dushta Damana Shakti. So he has empowered with the Dushta Damana Shaktis to annihilate the demonic kings. So we'll see in the next chapter also how he annihilated all the different types of kings who were demonic. So then there are other Shakti avatars like Prithu Maharaj, who is empowered with Palana Shakti, and 4 Kumaras, who is empowered with the Gnana Shakti, Narada Muni, who is empowered with the Bhakti Shakti, like that. But Parashurama is empowered with the Dushta Damana Shakti. Even we hear that song also in the Jaydev Goswami, the Dashavatara song, saying that Kshatriya Rudiramaye Jagata Pagata Papam Snapayasi Payasi Samita Bhavatapam Keshavadrita Bhrugupati Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare. Like that. So he says, Jaydev Goswami mentions that Lord Parashurama kills so many or annihilates so many demonic Kshatriyas. With that, there is a reverse of blood appeared at Kurukshetra. Like that. And here we see that Lord Parashurama is very angry. Of course, this angry, we hear that anything and everything comes from Krishna only. So even the angerness also comes from Krishna. Of course, the angerness that is exhibited by the Supreme Lord, like Lord Narasimhadev, like that. So they're all transcendental. So they are to annihilate the demons and to protect the devotees. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutanam. So not unlike the anger that is mostly exhibited in this material world for sense gratification. Not like that. So this anger can, even somebody has anger, that also can be channelized in the service of Krishna, like Hanumanji or Arjuna. They have used their anger in the service of the Supreme Lord Krishna to annihilate the inappropriate people or the demonic personalities, like that. So now Parashurama is very angry, and then he took up his shield, bow, and arrows, and then went to Kartavirya's place and chased the Kartavirya just like a lion chases an elephant. And we see that Kartavirya's capital is Mahishmati Puri. And then Lord Parshuram, how he is coming, like he's also saying that best of the Bhrugu dynasty, Bhrugupati. So Lord Ramachandra is mentioned as Raghupati because he's the best of the Raghu dynasty. So similarly here, Parshurama is mentioned as Bhrugupati. So he is coming after him, like holding a chopper, shield, bows, and arrows like that. And then in the next sloka, we see that seeing Parshurama is coming, Kartavirajana immediately he appeared. And we see that how many people or soldiers he sent. So elephant, chariots, horses, equipped with clubs and soldiers. And we see that he sent 17 full Akshohani of soldiers to check Parshuram. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport, he gives the details of what one Akshohani means. So there are 21,870 chariots and elephants, and then 109,350 soldiers, and there are many thousands of horses. So Prabhupada give a full descriptions. And one Akshavani, the combinations of many personalities like that. And in Mahabharata, we hear like that there are total 18 Akshavanis participated in the war. Like 11 Akshavanis army on the Kaurava side and seven on the Pandava side. And almost all of them are perished, died, or killed. And Srila Prabhupada mentions in the one of the purport that quoting Mahabharata Adi Parva, says that there are 64 crore people died in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And not only that, there are many people missing. So if we include the people who are missing, then it would cross over 1 billion people. So huge amount number of people. And I heard even scientists, even today, they notice some marks of blood in the land of Kurukshetra, even today also, which because of the immense people were killed in that Kurukshetra. And in fact, I heard that one Indian producer, so he contacted this Steven Spielberg, who filmed Jurassic Park, and narrated the descriptions of Mahabharata war and requested if he can make a film like that. And he mentioned that it is not possible to uh, make a film which is similar to the war mentioned in Mahabharata. So it's very difficult. And here we see that Lord Parshurama is one side and all 17 Akshavanis army is other side. He is all alone. And it is very captivating to see Supreme Lord Parshurama's fighting spirit. It's of course it's very difficult to perceive also. And of course, yes, Supreme Lord, what to speak of 17 Akshohanis, he can annihilate even 17 millions of Akshohanis comes also. So it's all powerful. In fact, without he entering into the war also, with his desire, everything can be done because he has unlimited energies. Parasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shvete. And as soon as he desires, his energy is swabhavika. So it's very natural. So they will do the things. But here we see that Lord Parshurama in action. So killing all of them. And how he killed also is mentioned here, like, expert in killing, military strength, worked with the speed of the mind and the wind, slicing his enemies with his chopper. So wherever he went, the enemies felt their legs, arms, shoulders being severed, their chariot drivers killed. So elephants and horses all annihilated. So we hear that when it is, if we try to imagine just to kill one elephant, which is very big, and that too, these elephants are very trained to attack the opposite party like a mad elephant. So the very powerful. And here we see that 17 Akshonis, which are having many thousands of elephants. And here Lord Parshurama is killing all these thousands elephants and many powerful soldiers, Radhis, Atiradhis, Maharadhis, like that. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that Lord Parshurama, when the army of the enemy was full of fighting soldiers or elephants and horses, So he proceeded into their midst of the army at the speed of mind and killed them. So we can understand. I mean, it's very difficult to pursue also, going through the mind of the speed of the mind. And when he is tired or the most of the army is finished, then he slowed down, and that too with the speed of the wind. So with the speed of the wind. So it is very captivating if we can imagine that. It's very uh, attractive, like, how Parashrama is physically killing one by one, chopping off the heads, legs, thighs, or heads with his axe or parsu. So it's we see that how wonderfully he is performing this action. And then in 32 sloka, so we see that Lord Parashurama manipulating his axe and arrows, so he cut all of them into the pieces, the flags, bows, bodies of Kartavirya Arjuna's soldiers. Then seeing this, Kartavirya Arjuna, he became infuriated, and then he rushed to the battlefield. Of course, Kartavirya Arjuna also we heard earlier from Grace Chaitanya Chandra Babu narrated, am I right? How he defeated Ravanasura. So Ravanasura himself is a very powerful, but he defeated Ravanasura very easily and prisoned him. So Kartavirya Arjuna also very powerful, and we see that Kartavirya Arjuna has 1,000 arms. So because he pleased with his austerity, Dattatreya, Lord Dattatreya. So due to the boons, he got 1,000 arms. So he's very powerful. So with his 1,000 arms, using 500 bows, so he fixed the arrows and tried to attack Lord Parshurama, to kill Parshurama. Of course, Parshurama is the best of the fighters, released enough arrows with only one bow to cut to pieces immediately all the arrows and bows in the hands of Kartavirya. So not only he released the arrows, but all of his all of Kartavirya 500 bows and arrows were all cut to pieces. Because he has 1,000 arms, so he's using two hands to release one arrow. So like that, 500 arrows simultaneously is releasing it. So Kartavirya Arjuna, that's why he's called Sahasrabahu Arjuna, like that, or Sahasra Arjuna, because he has 1,000 arms. And then Lord Parashurama, after he cutted his arrows and bows into pieces, Kartavirya Arjuna, then what he did is uprooted many trees and hills with his own hands and rushed strongly towards the Lord Parashurama to kill him. Like once all his bows and arrows are finished, then he tried to uproot the trees and then use them as the weapons to kill Lord Parashurama. And of course, Parashurama is very powerful, Supreme Lord himself. So he used his axe and cut off a Kartavirya Arjuna arms, just as one might lop off the hoods of the serpent. So he cut off all his hands also. So and then in the next sloka we see that so when Kartavirya Arjuna's not only hands, he cut off like a mountain peak, the head of the Kartavirya Arjuna. So the Kartavirya Arjuna, his head is also cut off by Lord Parshurama. And then seeing that Kartavirya Arjuna has 10,000 sons, they were all afraid. So seeing their father was killed, and they fled all in fear. And I heard not only Kartavirya Arjuna's sons fled away, but when Lord Parshurama killed so many demonic kings, and some of them who were not able to withstand are fearful of Lord Parshurama, so they fled away from the land of Bharat. So, and I heard they came to Western or other parts of the world. And Srila Prabhupada also mentions in one of the purport that generally these Kshatriyas are very beautiful compared to other Varnas. Like we have a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudras. So, and out of all these four varnas, Kshatriyas are very beautiful. The men or women. So, because they all, many Kshatriyas at that time, so they flew away from the land of Bharat to the Western world or the other parts of world. So they, that's why Prabhupada quotes saying that, says that these Western world's men and women are beautiful because they have the roots of Kshatriya dynasty of Bharat, the land of Bharat. So here also we see that the Kshatriyas they flew away from the land of Bharat. So when they saw Parshurama kill Kartavirya, then all his 10,000 flew away. So similarly, many of the demonic kings who were unable to withstand, they flew away from the land of Bharat. And then Parshurama, having killed, so he released the Kamadhenu with its calf, and then brought it back to their ashram and gave it to his father Jamadagni. And then Parshurama narrated to his brothers and brothers' father, so how he killed Kartavirya. Then we hear that, then we see that what Jamadagni mentioned here. And Jamadagni is mentioned here that so you have unnecessarily killed the king, who is supposed to be the embodiment of all the demigods. Thus, you have committed sin. Like generally, the king who follows the path of dharma, so he is considered as the representative of the Supreme Lord, Naradeva, and is also embodiment of all the demigods. So that's why here Jamadagni's father, Lord Parshurama's father, is saying that we are Brahmanas and have become worshipful for the people generally because of our quality of forgiveness. And it is because of this quality, Lord Brahma, the supreme spiritual master of the universe, achieved his post. So Lord Brahma also achieved this post because of the quality of forgiveness. And of course, we also heard earlier in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord Krishna mentions the qualities of Brahmana. Samodamas tapasaucham kshantir. Kshantir means tolerance or forgiveness. Ajyavam yevacha gnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma swabhavat. Like the Brahmanas, they have these qualities. Samo, peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, and other qualities, kshantir, tolerance. So they forgive that. Of course, this quality also we see in many of the great Vaishnavas, they exhibited. Because generally the devotees who are in the path of bhakti, so they are very tolerant. So that's why if somebody offends him, they don't take it as an offense. But of course, Supreme Lord Krishna will not tolerate. So we see that, Srila Haridas Thakur, though he was beaten in 22 markets, but he did not had any grudge, or he did not took it as an offense to the people who beat him. In fact, he prayed for their wellness, like that. So like that, there are so many examples. And Prabhupada also quotes Jesus Christ, who also prays to the Lord to forgive the people who tortured him, like that. So there are so many examples like that. And Prabhupada mentions that here in the 40th sloka, that the duty of the Brahmana is to culture the quality of forgiveness, which is illuminating like the sun. It is pleased with those who are forgiving. So this is one of the wonderful thing. As a practicing devotee, we can also try to acquire this quality. Of course, I'm talking myself, the quality of forgiveness, because it pleases the Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada also mentions in the purport that Brahmanas are beautiful when they have this quality of forgiving. So, and Kshatriyas are beautiful when they exhibit the heroic and they never retreat from the fighting, like that. And Vaishyas are beautiful when they enrich cultural activity, the cow protection and farming, like that. And Sudras will become beautiful when they are faithful in the discharge of their duties and pleasing their masters, like that. So like that, everyone will become beautiful with their special qualities. And the special quality as of Brahmana is forgiveness. So that is something as a practicing devotee, we can also try to acquire or develop these qualities. And the last sloka for today, saying that Jamadagni is telling, my dear son, killing a king who is an emperor is more severely sinful than killing a Brahmana. But now, if you become Krishna conscious and worship the holy places, you can atone for this great sin. So this is very inspiring. So we may have committed many, many sins in the past, but if we become Krishna consciousness and follow the process of this given by the Srila Prabhupada, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So all our sins will be destroyed. So, and Prabhupada mentions in the purport that so who takes up this process of Krishna consciousness and surrenders to the Supreme Lord, Krishna says that Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo. So he will destroy all the sins, he will take away, and then he will give the moksha shyam. So he will give the liberation. So if we can take up this process sincerely and seriously, then we become purified and we can go back home, back to Godhead. Another point here saying that also worship the holy places. So the reason Prabhupada mentions why it is advised to go from one place to other place, the holy places is so generally an ordinary person, so he may not immediately surrender to the Supreme Lord. So that's why he is advised to go to the holy places, one place to other holy places like that, and find saintly persons and inquire from them, take their association, and get inspired to progress in the path of bhakti. So that is the reason it is advised to visit the holy places. So not that, of course, it is very helpful, one going to the holy places, taking darshan of the Supreme Lord there, and taking bath in the holy rivers. But most important here is taking the association of the saintly persons that are in there, in those dhams, serving them nicely, inquiring from them. So what we should do once we come back from that holy dham to our residence, what should we do in our day-to-day life, and how we can utilize this valuable human life to achieve the highest results of getting Krishna Prema or going back home to back Godhead. So those are the things most important that we should inquire from the saintly people and enlighten from them, and then apply in our life. So that association will help us to, or it opens the door of the liberation. Mat sevam dwaram ahuri mukte. So when we serve the devotees or the saintly people, take their association, then the doors of the liberation will be opened. So, so with this, I'll pause and here it. The one of the thing that I can take away from this section is to take the association of the devotees and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, so that all our sins will be destroyed, and then we can progress in the path of bhakti. And ultimately, if we are able to successfully follow this process, then we can go back home, back to Godhead. So thank you all for giving this opportunity. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you all devotees for joining the class today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.